You're listening to The Faith Show. Y'all, honestly, I need to take a deep breath because I just recorded this entire episode and then I hit save and it deleted. And I cannot lie, I am pretty darn pissed. But all I'm gonna do is continue because this episode, I'm finna talk to you about becoming the storm, healing, clarity, and the cost of awakening. There's a cost to awakening. Hey now. Excuse me. Okay, guys, this past month cracked me open. And listen, I will say this for the record. I know that my episodes were supposed to be quote unquote bi-weekly on Thursdays. But you want to know something? Never in my life have I ever been able to keep up with any kind of, consecutive day kind of thing. It's not how I roll. It's never gonna be. I need to stop trying to fit into that template. Okay? So these episodes, they're gonna be sporadic. They're gonna be whenever I feel a download or I feel really, led to okay, time to sit and record this episode, right? Because any other time that I try to force it, I can't. My intuition be like, girl, you don't want to sit there and do this right now, so just don't. And I'll be like, all right, I hear you. And excuse me, what I want to talk to you guys about today really is how being myself is not easy, and how people who are also on the journey that I am on, which is actually being God on this plane of existence, so that y'all can have a mirror that is like actual humanity instead of a man-made mirror of God. Wow, that was I just worded that really great. I'm glad, because I was typing it and I was like, how am I gonna word that? Because every single episode, you guys, that I do, I write an outline of what I'm gonna talk about, so I'm not just just chatting, even though that does tend to happen occasionally. But I was like, how am I gonna word that? But truthfully, I'm not unaware of the narrative that I'm untrustworthy, or that I could be someone who uses people for stepping stones, I guess. But from my perspective, and from just real spirituality, I came into this world into a karmic relationship, from my family, my parents, and I didn't come here to people please or to self-sacrifice or to lie just to keep connections, which are all things that people do to, keep connections. But because of that, one of the main things that sets me apart and people who are like me apart is having the ability to come back home to myself. And because I don't need external validation. And what that means, because I think people, they use that word, but they don't understand what it really means. And it's I don't need people to mirror my reality to me. I don't need someone to tell me that something's okay or good or attractive or, I don't need that from someone else. I get it from myself. And I think it's hard for people because a lot of people are taught to see people in halves, right? So it's people are walking around feeling like they're unwhole already. And this life is about integration, because the light and the shadow are together. You can't have one without the other. And because our society has made people think that life and their being is so really just black and white, when we live in the gray area for most things, and people haven't been taught how to integrate. Like, that is what my life is an example of. How to integrate the selves, because that is how you will achieve fullness. Like, for example, I guess it is a movie. There's only 6 or 8 episodes, I'm pretty sure, of the show Moon Knight, and I really just want to put people onto it if they haven't seen it, and look at it from an emotional and spiritual sense, but also look at it from a logical standpoint of everything around us and how things are constructed for people to not trust in their own intuition, to not really trust in themselves. And I feel like that show, it really showcases so much duality in a person and the spiritual aspects of being split in a way, because I have said before, I have borderline personality disorder and complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and for me it's like seeing Mark Septor create Stephen Grant and the one that we haven't seen yet, the other personality. But it's like he's creating these entities from fear or from not wanting to touch a part of his past that is affecting him, which what is making him into the person that he is. And it's like focusing on those truths is how you actually can come into a life where you can live and not survive. And like, there's so much emotional cost in leadership, because a lot of people, if you're not leading from a selfish standpoint, if you're really leading to guide people to a better sense of self, like, that work is immeasurable. And I think because our world is so focused on external pursuits and external gratification, it's like I'll be the first one to tell you, like, you're not spiritual gratification isn't microwavable. Like, it's not something like where you're just gonna do a 30-day spiritual thing and it's like, oh, you're better. Like, no, it takes years. Like, I literally left my situation in 2017 and it has taken me up until now to be emotionally mature. That's a lot of years, guys. It's not an overnight fix, and it depends on how intentional you are with like your life, because the thing is, it all becomes about balance. And it's like, because you still deserve to be a human being, and that's something that I've had to come to terms with too. Like, apart from me feeling like, oh, I'm a martyr or whatever the case, it's like, no, I still have a life and it's still mine. And that's why I've personally laid so many new boundaries around like what I will not be doing emotionally for other people because of what I'm doing or planning to do for the world. I can't do it for, my close circle or the people who I'm desiring to be around me. And I've learned that like I can model what a full life looks like, and all I can do is let people, rise up. And this is my season of showing up rooted and not reactive. Like, I understand that like people will misunderstand me, but like my truth will stand because it's coming from love. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. And that's really, if people want to know the secret of why I'm so divinely protected and loved, it's because I'm doing things from love. I'm not sitting here having ulterior motives. I said ulterior and all these like games and like secret motives or secret, like, I'm not doing that. I am seeing people for who they are, and I'm loving them in spite of. And then once I see that they cannot love me in the way that I need, I move accordingly. And it doesn't mean that love is lost. If anything, it means that I love myself enough to give myself what someone else can't. And that may seem like a threat to people, or it may seem like I'm judging, or I'm judging those people. And the thing is, you guys, a word that has been tossed around on social media a lot right now is discernment. I know that word from my religious upbringing. But I want you guys to know what judgment and discernment means. Discernment means the ability to judge well, and the ability to make considered decisions or come to sensible conclusions, form an opinion or a conclusion. And I guess realistically, it's like, I think a lot of you guys want to hear somebody say that they're sorry for assessing you correctly. I know it's disappointing to be assessed correctly. Like, nobody likes to be read. You know what I mean? But it's like, as someone who's the divine mirror, I'm not here to read you and, come for you. I'm here to read you so that you can go in my reading and annotate. So that you can clearly see what you need to take out of it and what you need to leave. Does that make sense? It's for all my writers, because I'm coming back into that truth for myself as well. One of the best ways for me to articulate myself, apart from speaking, has always been writing. And I wrote my book, As You Grow. That is something that I'm trying to get published. I sent it to a good amount of publishers. And I just sat there and wrote that. That just came from my heart and my mind, and thinking about my little sister and realizing, like, you know what? I cannot change adults who are so unwilling. But what I can do is influence children whose hearts are still where they need to be, and their hearts haven't been blinded, and they can influence each other and other people as well. So it's like, I have had to grieve the reality that I have wanted from other people for something else. Like, that saying that you might get what you want, but it might not look like what you thought, or it could be even better. It's like, that's what I feel like my life is unfolding on, because there were so many people who I loved and wanted to come with me, but I see so clearly that they could have never come with me being who they are, if that makes sense. And it's okay, not everyone is going to grow with you. But that's the thing about life. It's like, people always have a chance, and even though people may seem so far from you energetically, reaching other people, like leveling up spiritually, is one of the things that's actually possible in life. Like, how working out, a lot of people work out because, in a way, like, working out isn't microwave, but it kind of is, because it's like, that you are going to get results. Like, working out, you're going to get out what you put in. And that is the same thing for spirituality. And that's the difference between being like, oh, Jesus, I claim you in my life, and I'm just going to say this, and then I'm just going to live how I want. Like, no, spirituality is very intentional, and you have to actually be, doing stuff. It's not just attend something on one day and then, read some Bible verses. It's really, checking yourself and paying attention to how you speak and how you respond, and, your own filter. And it's frustrating being in this role, but it's not, I don't know, I feel like personally I was made for it. So I don't feel like upset about myself being in this role, if this makes sense. I think a lot of people who have this role, the greatness thrust upon them, that they don't want the role. And I guess I understand that, because it's definitely a very isolated walk alone until you reach a certain point of actually ascending, so that you can, like, invite the people, or really, like, telepathically invite the people who are supposed to be in your life, your found family, to you, so that they can come to you. and you can actually have the space to receive them. Because that's the thing too, like, guys, I can start rambling because it's like we live in a psychic world. We live in a world that has been created based off of people's thoughts. And I don't try to get so deep into these conversations, for my podcast. These are more like one-on-one things. But it's really, really important that you guys take the time to take inventory of your life and who you are. And if you know that you are a person who holds influence, if you know you are someone who people come to for guidance, it's like, really step into that role and be willing to be the change that other people need to see. I know that sounds so corny. It sounded corny coming out of my mouth. But it's so true, like, because some people really truly don't know that they can have more. And I don't mean just have more materialistically wise, because I think that's what a lot of people think. But they don't know they can have more love, that they can have more affection, that they can have more grace, that they can have more space, like they can take up space. And yeah, so this episode, it was kind of a lot, kind of all over the place a little bit. Life is a life, and it's a time, and it could be a fun time if you take your time. Okay, you guys, I'll see you later. By the way, yeah, what I said about the episodes though in the beginning, that really, I need to say that again, because that's another thing that I'm learning, right? Becoming the storm, becoming the person. It's like I have to stop even trying to put myself into these templates that don't work. Like, why am I trying to force myself to do something every 2 weeks? And like, even with, I be watching Bailey Sarian, shout out to her. I don't know if you guys watch her too, her Murder Mystery Mondays, and she'll be like, damn, like I missed a few Thursdays or Mondays, my bad. And it's like, girl, like, why are we trying to fit into stuff? Like, once you got your people and people who are willing to listen to you, like, they're gonna show up. Like, that's the thing. Like, once you're at a place where people are gonna show up, or you're gonna show up, like, none of that matters, because then things just show up in time, like how they're supposed to. Like, I still be finding her episodes and watching them, whether they're on a Monday or whenever, so it's like, that's the thing. At some point you have to really start paying attention to how you move and be like, is this really working for me? Like, does this work for me? Y'all know how I say we're our own universes. So take inventory of your universe. Okay? I don't be trying to get on here and just talk to y'all like this, but it be feeling like like, that's what it kind of be feeling like. Because it's like, on TikTok, I could be keying, making my little jokes, getting ready to, do all these recordings, having things in my draft saved. But then on my podcast, it's like, I need to talk some shit a little bit, because but anyways, I love you guys, and I'm grateful for you guys listening, and send me love, and share my stuff. Follow me on TikTok, not Instagram. I really don't be on there. There's no point. Facebook, the North Tonawanda group, people, it's 114 people in there. They don't like or say anything, but they're watching. Everybody's watching. All right, so get ready, because things are about to get crazy in the best way possible. Okay, bye.